Guys, come back to you with another video. It's been like a couple weeks of making a video. I just want you to know, I was going to end up taking a break anyways because I was planning to go on vacation, which did not happen due to the ongoing pandemic. But now we're back, and we're going to start some new things on the channel. I'm just going to mention it. Monday is going to be Mobile Fire Mondays. You'll be seeing, or you already saw the first one, which is Top Ash, but you can be seeing different builds. We got pull on Mobile Fire, and we're gonna be playing champions in off-meta spots and doing some off-meta builds or some troll builds. We're gonna have a bit of fun with League. We need to spice up League a bit for us, because, well, I think one of the big issues before I went on break was League being kind of stale for me. And then Wednesday we're doing the Zombies series, and then that was gonna be really exciting. You'll see tomorrow, and then Thursdays are going to be top 5s, and then Friday and Saturday we're going to figure out some stuff for you guys. But I'm really excited to bring you some new stuff to the channel, because overall do enjoy playing League a lot. And then also, sorry if you can hear my fans going in my room. It gets pretty hot here in my setup room or my office, whatever you want to call it. But today I have great commentary, guys, and some great gameplay to accompany it as usual. The gameplay, some Rise top, and we ended up winning the game. What I'm more excited about is the 48.2% of you that are subscribed to the channel. And the thing I'm not too excited about is the 51.8 of you that aren't subscribed to the channel. Guys, because, you need to be subscribed and turn on that notification bell when we're up to date with the channel. And you need to be subscribed to just when we put out the great content here. And today's commentary is how to manage your mana in a more efficient manner. So let's get into the commentary, guys. Controlling your mana in League is one of the fundamentals that every player needs to learn in order to succeed. Mana it's one of the more important depending on your kit, on your champion. On some champs use it more than others. That's why I picked Rise for this. It makes the gameplay, the commentary make a bit more sense if you've seen the gameplay. So understanding how to be used is successful. To some extent, there is a rule for one, and then there's a rule for another that will come apparent in the guys in this commentary. When you break away and remove layers, it depends on the champion you're playing. For example, some champions will use their ability to farm, and some will not. I guess, some will. Rise is one of the good ones, and then another one that won't use their mana to farm is Ash, for example. There's some champions. For example, Karthus will use his Q to farm a lot, because his animation's a bit sloppy, and whereas an ADC may not, like Ash or Caitlyn, really won't use it, maybe just for some poke, or that's about it. And then, so when I say that you should generally avoid farming for your abilities, there's some exceptions, guys. There's major exceptions to it. Like Rise is one of the ones, because you do end up wanting to charge your tier, your mana tier, so you can get Saracen very easier. So I want to start with the basics, guys. The basics, guys, is very important to anything. You need to know the basics before doing it, and it will give you a better idea of what to do. Mana is a precious resource, guys, during the early game. It will allow you to use your abilities more often, and will allow you to perk, deal damage, and trade blows with the enemy. Most champions in the game rely on their mana and their abilities to deal extra damage, like Caitlyn with her Q, with her poke, or Jhin with his W. Some champions will use stuff for Vel'Koz with his Q and WE, and stuff like that. Every champion is different cost when using their mana. Some are low cost, and some are very expensive. You'll need to avoid using your expensive abilities unless you're using them with a purpose. For example, you're utilizing your ultimate to finish somebody, or even secure a kill. You will only use your ultimate if you're going to try and kill the enemy, save a teammate, or using it in a team fight, or some of the good things, maybe just poke off, or CC someone so you can escape his Nautilus, hit someone with an R to get away. And then you should avoid using your ultimate in common trades. There's just some reasons why you wouldn't want to. One, it's really expensive. You cannot use your ultimate every 5 seconds compared to a low-cost ability. Use it in lane when trading and locking in the enemy can force you to back, or as you will run out of mana, or sometimes with some champs you become an immobile target when you use it. So that's one of the things, and it's a special ability for long cooldown. You shouldn't throw out your ultimate unless you're using it with a purpose to secure a kill, guys, or team fights. Most champions have incredibly long cooldowns, which they cannot use it whenever they want. This isn't always the case. Champions have some low cooldown abilities, like Zoe or Jace have some very low cooldowns, guys, and you'll be seeing them on screen. And you can use their ultimates as freely as they like. In most matchups and situations, you can use only your other abilities freely during the game without any repercussions, as long as you keep an eye on their cost and their mana pool. For example, you need to avoid consuming all your mana or running out of health by poking or trading blows with the enemy. On the other hand, energy is something that regenerates rather quickly, allowing the use of abilities more often. The trade-off is that you cannot increase your maximum energy like you can your mana. While you still need to keep an eye on their cost, you can be to some extent less reserved on when you use them because they regenerate really fast, like on Zed. For champions whose abilities consume health, you will need to use your abilities if you're healthy and you have a lot of health. If you're rather weak and do not have much. And like one of them is let's see, that uses health. Soraka uses health a lot, and then you won't use the high cost and health consuming ability, as you will only be putting yourself in a worse position. So now guys, we're going to talk about farming. Farming is generally speaking, you want to use your abilities just to farm unless your champion favors it, or when you are forced to use it, guys. Maybe just secure a few minions as Volcauser for W. This is because you will be using all your mana on the minion wave and not the enemy, and you need to find the happy medium, guys, between using your abilities on the minion wave and poking the enemy, or just maybe trading with the enemy. On League of Legends, you will find yourself in a situation where 2 minions are about to die at once. In this situation, you may auto-attack one minion and then use a low-cost ability on the second so you can get both minions, maybe like a Q on Vel'Koz, right? Do not know which one to rise. Even though I play him a lot, I don't have his cost memorized. It's kind of a shame, honestly. But you will find the happy medium between... Guys, I mentioned that. I don't even know why I'm looking back at my script. But alternatively, you may want to use ability to last hit the cannon minion if your attack animation is clumsy, which some mages are. However, while you don't have your ability up, the enemy may look to trade with you. This is where you could try to use your abilities for more than just farming. If you have a long-range ability like Xerath Q or the Vel'Koz W, you could use it on the minion wave and last hit one of them. And you can also aim in the direction of the enemy to help you trade. This way you gain the maximum value out of the mana cost with a poke and last hit of the CS with the minion. Finally, you want to use your abilities to fast push the wave if you intend to recall force the enemy to come back to lane. For example, if the enemy mid laner starts to rotate or roam, you could use your abilities to help push the wave while they are gone, to making the wave push and crash into their tower. Although some champions who like to push the wave and keep the lane pushed as Volcauze, Zoe, and Syndra, to name a few. These champions may like to push the wave early and use their mana on the minion wave, depending on the matchup. If they can hit the enemy with their abilities while pushing the wave, it is an additional prize. This is also true of champions like Zed, who use energies, can use their abilities to last hit the minion when needed, like with his Q, I think. So when he throws out, I don't know what they're called, but he has his ranged attack, I guess, is what I'd like to call it. Among other things, Karthus is a champion that's terrible auto-attack animation. This makes it real difficult to last hit minions. Luckily, his Q can be used to last hit, as it deals damage, doesn't cost a lot of mana, and regenerates mana when it kills a minion. Very important, guys. And you can even use that on Twisted Fate with his blue card to get a bit of mana back, since it regenerates. And now we're going to go on to trading and poking, guys. Trading and poking is a core aspect of League. This is where you should prioritize using your mana and your abilities to deal extra damage to the enemy. For the most part, most champions have one ability that they will use often than any other. This is usually the first ability, Q, which they use this ability to consistently poke, like Vel'Koz or Lux's Q, I guess, is a good poke ability because it can use it to root and build up a bit more damage, right? Some champions have their abilities. I have to name anyone, there's several ones, and they use this ability to rigorously poke. However, keep that in mind, every ability can be used to poke, guys. In some sense or another, it can be used to poke. And then, during laning phase, you will need to use your abilities, guys, to trade with the enemy. You will need to maximize your damage output by dealing damage and trading with the enemy. When they cannot deal as much damage in retaliation to you, one way this can be achieved is by using your ability when the enemy doesn't have an ability to trade back with. For example, if the enemy used their Q previously on the minion wave to farm with or to poke, you could use one of your abilities to poke them. In addition to this, you always try to retaliate whenever you see the enemy makes the first move. Trading in simple terms, once they use an ability or use an ability to trade blows with them, that's one of the things. You should try to do this if you're ahead or even in lane, but should minimize this when the enemy out damages you. For example, if the support trade blows a utility, support will always be left worse off forward than the mage support, right? If you're like a lot on this going into a Vel'Koz, for example, you always end up worse for the trade. Just because That's not unless his kit requires him to have health to go in. That's right. So that's one of the things. And you can use your abilities as much as you want. Just make sure you do not waste your mana. You will need to avoid returning to lane and using mana immediately, guys. Instead, trade and poke every so often. Do not run out of mana by trying to poke continuously. Like I previously mentioned, you'll need to find a healthy balance between farming, poking with your abilities, and poking with your auto attacks. When playing as a champion that uses energy, look to trade when you have almost max energy available. This will ensure you can trade the most efficient way and use all of your abilities. Avoid looking to go for full trades when you have low energy, even low mana, as you'll miss out on a lot of extra damage, guys. It's one of the issues I have on the Rise, which I am working on. But that's one of the good things in Lowe's League. And I'm going to give you a bonus tip. Abilities that you click on an enemy, just things that are not skill shots will cause you to take minion aggro. Abilities like an Annie Q, a Pantheon Q, a Teemo Q is all classified as on-hit abilities. Avoid trading with these abilities when there's a big wave or a cannon wave, as you'll be taking a lot of free damage, and it also may mess up your wave managing technique. Only use that or if you're sure you can secure the kill, right? That's one of the big important things. Now we're going to go on to team fighting. Very important aspect of League, guys. When team fighting, you need to make sure you do not run out of mana prior to team fights starting, or in the team fight itself. Without mana, you'll not be a threat to the enemy, especially as an AP champion or somebody that relies on their abilities to damage, like a mage. If you're walking around Summoner's Rift without mana, it may entice the enemy to start a team fight or engage on your team, as you might not have the full mana there for the damage potential. Without mana, you will not be able to do as much in the team fight, guys, and you're going to be potentially setting up your team to lose a team fight. For example, in a poke composition, your team will need to use their abilities as much as possible before engaging in a team fight. However, they will need to keep an eye on their mana pool, keep a healthy amount available to them, which they can use in the team fight, just in case one happens to go on. There's no real amount of mana that you should keep for a team fight, because it is unrealistic to maintain and stick to amount when a team fight could happen at any second in any location. As a general rule, you should have enough mana to last you enough to use your ultimate and 2 rounds of your main QWE abilities. But obviously, the more mana you have, the better, especially in long drawn out fights when the other team could be a lot more tankier than you. And yeah, I guess that's about it. And then, if you do not have a lot of mana when the team fight happens, you will lack damage. If you rely on your abilities, for instance, if you're AP champ or someone like Rise, you will struggle with dealing damage as you cannot freely use your abilities. This may cost your team the team fight if your team decided to engage. Alternatively, if the enemy sees you do not have any mana, they're able to start the team fight and force your team into a sticky, unfavorable position. To avoid putting yourself in the situation, keep an eye on the mana pool and do not stay on the map when you have little to no mana. We'll have to recall, refill, and get back to action, guys. Very important. Next, we're going to go on to just a few tips and tricks, guys, that overall can help you, better, right? Use your mana, which is mana, really important. This whole content, I've been mentioning, mana is really important, and that's why I picked Rise. Balancing your mana is something that takes a lot of practice. We all slip up here and there. Some of us have poor mana management when we're playing a different champion. I'm now going to give you some additional tips and tricks to help you balance your mana pool to come out of him. Take the blue buff. Remember to always ask first. You don't want to set your jungler behind, or you don't want to screw up his farming pattern when he might be getting close to an item. Always ask, but blue buff is one of the buffs you can take. If you're playing a mana-hungry champion like an AP mid laner, it can give you an advantage. Ask your jungler. Maybe he doesn't need it. He wants to make sure maybe you could snowball a game if you're a strong mid laner, and let him take the blue buff. As the boneless mana and sustain it provides, and it could help you as a mid laner. That's one of the big tips. Take the blue buff. Avoid autopiloting and using your abilities on wave. I've seen this many times at currently the elo I sit at. People do it. They just kind of autopilot and they just attack. Avoid it, guys. Avoiding it is key. Saying a lot of us suffer rift in League. Try and reduce autopilot to stop throwing out abilities and recklessly during laning phase, especially on the wave. Sometimes it could screw you when you're going for trades, or you need it to maybe use Vel'Koz, your ability slow, or your E as a lockup. Not only will you be running out of mana, but you'll also be pushing the wave, which can be a deadly consequences if you're immobile like Vel'Koz or Lux. Obviously, this is quite situational, and you should use your abilities when you need them, but make sure you find a perfect medium like I mentioned. Next tip, always save enough mana to use your dash escape ability or any hard shield / hard crowd control ability. Guys, whenever you're using abilities to trade a poke, make sure you have enough mana to use your dash or escape ability. You'll need to save enough mana for this ability because you will never know when you will need it. In addition to this, if you're playing a champion with a shield like a support, make sure you have enough mana to use a shield to protect you or the ADC. If the enemy decides to trade with you and you have no mana, you will not be able to defend yourself or your ADC. If you're support, right, this is bot side more really. But if you have an ability that is a form of crowd control, you need always have enough mana to use the ability just in case enemy ganks you while you are low on mana. Having enough mana just to use your root or stun, you can save your life or even flip kills. I've done that several times in lane. It's not honest. I've seen it happen when I've been playing other spots. It happens and it can flip. I've seen games on YouTube. People do that. That's flip stuff. One major cost, guys. This is an underrated one, but it's very important. Turn on your ability cost. Did you know you can display your mana and energy and your ability cost? Guys, head over to your settings section. Scroll down to interface and then look for an ability/attack display. Because you can turn it on, guys. And then from there, make sure to show spell cost and you have the box checked, and having this activated will allow you to know how much your abilities cost throughout the game. Now you will not be acknowledging how much the abilities cost as the game goes on, but you are subconsciously taking into account how much your abilities cost. In addition to this, I find that looking at them, the cost helps me understand what abilities I can use prior to trading or even in a team fight, guys. And that is all I have for you guys today. It's a very interesting commentary. Welcome to Tip Tuesday. I just hope you learned something and about using controlling your mana in a more effective way. Just remember, keep an eye on how much your mana, your abilities cost, and how much mana you have available. Realistically, it's all about a relentless in-game knowledge. More than you have available, guys. The more you know, practice makes perfect, is what I'm trying to say with that, guys. Your mana management is going to come with practice. Practice makes perfect. Guys, make sure to leave a like, guys, on the channel and subscribe to the channel because the subscription goes a long way. Guys, here, make sure we keep making videos here. As always, make sure you stay on the grind. Peace, guys, and stay safe out there. Make sure it's grinding on the league and don't in out there. Peace.
God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I